Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. So I've got my coffee. Yeah. I've got my tiny scissors, and down here we've got a box, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it's another unboxing video. Right, I'm just gonna have a quick slurp of coffee before it goes cold. So, big fan of drum machines, and I've been trying to find the very first drum machine I ever bought on eBay, which was a Kawai R50. This isn't that. I keep missing out on a few bids on those. I missed out on a really cheap one, which I'm really annoyed with because I just want to relive my my youth a little bit. Because my first drum machine I bought, I think it was probably 1988, with when I first started working. I couldn't believe I could go and buy a drum machine and pay for it in one go and had a drum machine. So I'm going to keep looking for one of those. If anybody's got a really cheap deal on a Kawai R50 drum machine, let me know, because I really want one again. But in my quest for the Kawai R50, I kept coming across the Alesis SR-16, which is in this box. I'm being honest, it's not a drum machine I'm that familiar with. I understand it was kind of first released in the 90s. You can still buy them new now. They're on Gearful Music, Amazon for around about 120 quid new. This one I got second hand. Cost, I think it was about £52, including delivery and everything. So let's open it up and we'll see if it's any good or if I've bought a complete piece of crap. So get my tiny bathroom scissors. I don't know why I use these for these videos, but oh well. They'll do the job. There we go, right, straight in. Okay. I mean, first of all, for a review, very messy taping. It's not a good review for the eBay packaging. But let's hope the contents are okay. Right, we're in. Okay, all right. So we've got an original power supply, which is always nice. No original packaging, but you know, I'm not bothered about that too much. It's second hand. No instruction manual, but who reads the manuals anyway? We can work this out. Okay, so there is the unit. Okay, that's in pretty good nick. Has it still got the... Oh, it's still got the plasticky thing on it. Right. I get very excited with these. If you watched my review of the Donna B1, you know how excited I get at peeling the plastic thing off. This looks in pretty good nick, actually. Bargain. 52 quid. Right, let's swap over to the overhead camera. And there we have it. And there's the plug. Right, okay. Watch and learn as I peel off. Can't believe somebody's left this on. Can I get it? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. See, it looks so much better without it. It's just like having a new one. Look at that. It looks brand new now. Okay, nice compact unit. It's kind of light, but feels solid. Feeling pretty hopeful with this so far. We've got a jog wheelie thing there. Pads feel nice. Okay, so far so good for 52 quid. I'm going to move that keyboard out of the way because that's going to really annoy my brain seeing that in the camera. And, right, first job then is, let's plug this bad boy in and see if we can get some sound out of it. So we plugged in, it's powered up okay. Screen looks nice, nothing untoward there, that's all working. What have we got round the back? So, we've got start and stop for foot switches. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's something I might try later. Full-size MIDI in and out, like that. In and out for tape. No idea what that's all about. And then we've got an auxiliary output, main right, headphones. Okay, not sure what we'd use the auxiliary for, but let's just plug it in. And we'll see where we go. Apparently this is supposedly quite a classic drum machine. I kind of feel a little bit embarrassed that I've never heard of this one before. But there we go. And apparently it's in loads of studios all around the world. So let me find an audio cable and we'll plug it in. Yeah, I've got a ridiculously long cable, but it'll do the job. I'm just going to put it in the headphones for now because I'm not going to do two cables for left and right. So we're in that end. If I can find the end of my stupidly long cable, we'll plug it into the mixer, which is over here. We're all connected in then. We'll press play and let's see what happens. Fingers crossed it works. Ah. That's a fat sound. channel am I on? Put some reverb on. Oh, there's a bit of delay on it on the mixer. Ah, nice. Tempo. No, that's... Okay. Right, so... Stop! It would appear that that's the volume. Tempo... Oh, that's tempo up. Right, let's... Don't know why. I'm getting Fine Young Cannibals vibes off that one from back in the 90s, which is not a bad thing because they were a great band. Okay, so we can play the pads. Okay, we've got like a reverse ride thing there. Okay, they seem to be, I don't know why, quiet compared to the actual main pattern there. Right, how do we change kits then? So we've got Bill, think I've got to work all this out. Pattern. I want, for some reason, I want to turn that to change the. We use these up and down, I guess. Right. So there are all the songs. Drum set. Right. Okay, so let's go through the other drum kits. Drum set select. Have I got that? Yeah, that's changed. Okay, need a pattern, I guess. That's an empty song. Right. Right. Bear with me. I'm just going to work out how to get the patterns going. Okay, got it. So if we press that, so that's all right. I was in song mode because that's telling me it's song 1. Pattern 1. Which is really slow. Okay, so we go, all right, so then we go up and down. Right, so let's go down to pattern 1, which is rock 1. For some reason it keeps setting the tempo to 54. So let's play rock 1. Instant Art of Noise vibes there. This is good. I like the sound of this. Let's change the drum set then. Kit 3. I like this because it's kind of completely different from any of the other drum machines I've got. 'Cause most of the stuff I use, I generally always tend to go, you know, good old standard 808 909 kit. This has got some huge sounds on it. Okay, let's go to a different pattern. Let's try, no, that's song. Pattern 2. Okay, for some reason, pattern 3. Don't know why. Let's just pick one at random. I don't know why the tempo keeps going back to 54. That's quite annoying. A different kit. Okay, we've got a button here that says fill. Let's see what that does. Nothing. How's that? Got an A and B again. I have no idea what I'm doing. Pattern. Okay, so we can type the patterns in on this keypad here. Okay, so let's go pattern 15. Nice. That's my dog barking in the background. So, can we change the drum kits like this? Yes, we can. Okay, that's quite good. That's easier than going up and down with those. How many drum kits have we got in here? 60, 49. Okay, so it looks like there's 49 different kits in there. Again, don't know how many sounds are on here. These are all the things I'm going to kind of have a look at. MIDI setup there. To make channels. Backup tempo and page. Excuse me. Right. Okay. So far, I'm impressed with this. I mean, size-wise, I mean, this is a standard kind of mouse mat. It's about the size of a mouse mat. I always like to measure things in terms of Volkers, which we have here. So it's, yeah, bigger than a Volca. But it's a nice size. Really impressed so far. And I can't believe I could nick it in. What we got on the back? Okay, so this tells you all the preset patterns and stuff. Oh, and basic instructions on the back, which is kind of annoying, but good at the same time. Because you've got to turn it over to read it. But I will download a copy of the manual, and then I'll work out how to go through all the sounds, and I will come back and add on to the end of this when I've done that. Kind of so we can look through all the different sounds and so on, and see how easy it is to program or not. Just looking at a little bit of kind of blurb from it, I understand it comes loaded with 233 realistic drum sounds, full MIDI support, 50 preset patterns. That's pretty good for a machine that's over 30 years old. I mean, like, I don't know how old this unit is when it was built, but if they're still selling now, I don't know if there's any date on the back, I don't know. If they're still selling them now, 30 years on, it can't be all bad, can it? And so far, yeah, I mean, the sounds, like, they're really punchy. I think that's going to really kind of kick through in a song. And even though they're probably 30 odd years old, they don't, to me, they're probably so old now they've gone past being dated and they sound current again. All right, very impressed. So as I said a second ago, I'm going to go away, get the manual, have a read of it, and then I'll come back and we'll see how easy the thing is to program. And then we'll probably have a little bit of a jam with it. And you know me with my channel, that will no doubt involve some sort of 303 nonsense. Okay, I will be back in a second.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Okay, so we're back. It's actually quite a few days later since I did the first part of this video. Just for various reasons, I just didn't seem to have the time to get round to get my head around all this. And also, I needed a bit of time to get my head around all this. So I've been through the manual. The manual's actually pretty good. I was quite impressed with the manual. It talks you through things quite nicely. So I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to program a couple of patterns here, and then I'm just going to hook it up to a couple of other things, and we'll use this as the master MIDI clock, and we'll have a little bit of a jam at the end. So I'm not going to do a massive full tutorial on how to use everything in here. If you want me to do that, I will happily go through every single detail and everything in the manual, and yeah, if there's a demand for that, then just stick a comment in the box below, and I'll do that if I can get around to it. So if I press play, we've got nothing, because there's nothing, no patterns in here. So obviously we've got these different kind of sections in our display here that tells us, which hopefully you can see. You've got a bit of a reflection of my phone and stuff, but anyway, hopefully you can see it. Obviously this was made in the 90s. I think if this was made now, it would be a nice backlit display. It's quite hard to see in low light. That's one of my first sort of criticisms of it. But I've been having quite a lot of fun with this little drum machine. It packs a punch. It does have some really punchy drum sounds. Again, kind of like that sort of retro-y sort of sound as well. Obviously, it's a 90s thing with digital samples and all that kind of stuff. But some cool punchy drum sounds in it. So, two ways of recording. We can have step recording or just like playing stuff in live and quantize it. Just very briefly, let's just have a look at the step recording, because the step recording is quite fiddly. I mean, you know, like a step recording thing now, you'd select the drum that you want and you'd see like LED lights going across your 16 steps. You'd light them up and you could see exactly where you're going. Obviously, we're talking about 90s step sequencing here. So, yeah, a slightly different kind of kettle of fish with this one. So to get in step recording, we're going to go to record setup. This is where you can select all your various recording settings. I'm on a quantizer 16th notes. Just by using these up and down here, we can, you know, choose whether we want 8th notes or triplet feels, that kind of thing. And then these pages, you see we're on page 2 is the swing. You can do stuff with your click and so on. If we go up to page 9, this gets us into step mode. So we press play to enter into step recording, and you can see we've got beat 1, well, bar 1, beat 1. So if I want to put a kick on there, I just press the kick, and you can see now we've got the kick there, and they're telling us which drum pad we've got on there, number 2, and the volume. So I could set that. The volume goes from 1 to 8 for each one. Now, as I step through, I'm going to use the page up and down here. So you can see it now goes to 0 of 24. So it kind of divides the beat up into 4 different sections if you, depending on your quantized section. So I'm in 16th notes. So this is basically, think of 1, E and okay, and then we're on to beat 2. So if I want to put a kick drum on beat 2 and say a snare drum, I would play them both on there. So now as I scroll through, you can see I've got the bass drum on beat 1 there. These are all empty because these are just the other 16th notes. And then on beat 2, I've got pad 1, which is the kick drum, and then also pad 2, which is the snare drum. If I put a hi-hat on there as well, kind of it will scroll through each of the sounds that are on that beat, which is, it's a bit of a faff, to be honest. But it's there if you want to specifically, you know, put something on a certain beat. I personally prefer, I mean, I'm a drummer. That is my main instrument, so I can play stuff in. But if I just play what we've got there now, okay, but that's very good, like if you want to get in like specific volumes for each drum sound. And again, it's good if you've got like a pattern that you've recorded in, but you want to just go in, add one little bit in somewhere. Good for that. So I'm going to just erase that pattern. So to erase a pattern, we're going to hold erase, we're going to press play, and it will ask you if you want to erase the associated fill with it. There isn't with anything with that, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, and now we're back to an empty pattern. So the way I prefer to work is to go into like play stuff in loud. Now these pads are velocity sensitive, but you got to give them a bloody good whack to get the full volume. Now you can change that in, I think it's in record setup, if I remember rightly. So velocity, you can change loud, medium, or soft, or fixed. Okay, so if you go to fixed on 8, it's going to be the same volume every time you play it, which is great if you want to just like max the volume out and you don't want like ghost notes and stuff. But I do find these, you know, I kind of, if I was, don't know how long this would last if I was really battering them like that. It's something I might try in a separate video with a MIDI controller, so I could get more kind of like ghost notes and more dynamics and stuff in the playing. But for now, I'm going to just leave it on that. So press record setup to come out of that. This button here, perform or compose. So if we're on perform, which we're on at the moment, just going to play back whatever is on there. If you're on to compose and I press play, we get a metronome. Okay, so let's just put a basic pattern in. We're just going to put a kick drum on this first part. Oh, forgot to say as well, the default bar length is 8 beats, which is 2 bars. You can change that. You can go to 1 bar. You can go all the way up to 128 steps, which is 32 bars. So you can have pretty long, complex patterns going on in it, which is pretty cool. But I'm going to leave it at 8 steps, which is 2 bars for now, just because I can't bother to change it. So a count in, and then just okay. Quantize is on. You can see I've gone a bit off on there. Although I quite like that, I might just leave that pattern in. Sometimes you get that happy accident. And yeah, no, let's change that. Let's just erase that. We'll just go for a basic 4 on the floor kick. Let's try that again. Let's see if I can play in time this time. He says he's a drummer, supposedly. There we go. Got it right this time. So I'm going to copy that across to pattern B. So for each pattern, you've got 50 user patterns and 50 preset patterns. You can't change the preset patterns, but you've got 50 user ones. But for each one, you've got pattern A and pattern B, and you've got fill with each one as well. So technically, you've got like 100 odd patterns. So what I'm going to do is hold copy, and we're going to copy that pattern to pattern A here. We're going to go to pattern 0 and B, press that, and if we now go on to pattern B, we've now got that in there. And what we'll do is we'll just do a little offbeat hi-hat thing. So we go into compose mode. Okay, so again, we're going to copy that. We'll copy pattern B, which is the one we're on. We're going to copy it to, so we're going to copy it to pattern 1A. Let's place to instantiate to that. And now if we go up to pattern 1, now we're on B. And it's not done it. Marvellous. Hold on. Where did I go wrong there? Right, pattern B. Right. Copy to pattern 1A. Right. Should have done it this time. There we go. And what we'll do is, let's just go back to that first pattern and B there. I'm going to put a fill in with that. Now, the weird thing with a fill is, this just threw me out to start with. It doesn't play the first downbeat. Well, no, it does play it, but it plays it on the first beat of your pattern after it. So I was like doing these fills that started like this. And I was getting this weird snare drum. Easy if I just kind of show it to you. So let's just record a little drum fill on there. I was going to just do a snare thing, 2-bar one again. Okay, now the fills kind of act as transition things. So if I'm on pattern B and I press the fill, it will it won't play the whole fill. It'll just play it dependent on where I bring it in. So if I bring it in on, say, there. Okay, so it does that extra beat at the end. The first beat that you put on your fill plays on the first beat when it goes back to the pattern, which is kind of like I thought that's a little bit weird. And then having read the manual a little bit more, it's quite a clever little system, because what you do is on that first beat, you would normally you would go into a kick and a crash on that first beat, and it will play, which you might not want to repeat on every loop round of your pattern, and it will just play that once. So I think that's quite cool. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but again, if I show you this, so let's just erase, we'll go, we're on B, we're on that fill, so we're going to erase the fill. Okay, so check that's gone. Yeah, so there's no fill in there now. So what you would want to do when you're recording your fill is select that on B and fill. Generally going to put a crash on that first beat like that. So let's do that. Okay, this is where you could do it on a step sequencer, but I missed the crash. Let's do the crash as well this time. Okay, so now on beat 1, we've got that. Okay, so now if I go pattern B, do the fill, we get that nice crash on the first beat, but then when that pattern loops around, you don't have the crash again. It just plays it on that one, which I think is really clever. Right, so pattern 2, let's put some extra stuff in on here. Let's just stick a clap on. Okay, let's do another fill. I'm not going to do too many patterns. See if we can get these together. That'll do. And then pattern B. So let's just go back to A. We're going to copy A to 1B. And let's just stick some okay, so we've got 4 different patterns there. Let's see what we've got. Let's go pattern A, then the fill, Hang on. Oh, I'm still in compose mode. Sorry, that's why it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Pattern B is that one. Okay, pattern A, fill. Go back to pattern A. Did I mess pattern A up? Okay, B is what I wanted to say, but not to worry. It's the opposite way around. You can go in and erase individual parts as well. That's fairly straightforward to do. So I think I do really like this drum machine. I'm going to close this video off with a little bit of a jam. I'm going to hook this up to the Donna B1 and also the Deluge, which is over here. And I'll change the camera so you can see all that. I'm just going to have a little jam, just going through those patterns. I think the main thing I don't like about it is that you can't solo or mute any of the drums. So you've got to have like separate patterns for everything. So for example, if I wanted, take the kick out for a few bars, you can't do that. There's no mute or solo, which is a bit of a pain. It's a bit of a shame from a kind of a performance point of view, because you've got to just keep going into various patterns. But I mean, there would be ways around that of sequencing this from something externally where you can turn those pads on and off. But that's about my only criticism of it, really. I think if it had that, particularly from a performance point of view, it would be great. I think that and the fact that you've got to hit these pads really hard if you need to, get some nice dynamic drumming can also be a problem. And backlit on the screen for dark clubs would also be useful. Other than that, I think it's a great old drum machine. This cost me 50 quid off eBay secondhand. I really like it. There's loads of different drum kit sounds. Let's just go through some of the different drum sets, because we've not done that. No idea what I'm doing. Drum set. Pages. So you've got some nice big reverby ones. Up a bit. Oh, they're the user ones. Let's go into the preset kits. And again, if I remember rightly, you get 50 preset kits, and you can have 50 user kits as well. So, I mean, you can get an idea of the kind of the vibes of the sounds. And you can assign any sound to any pad as well. There are, I think, 250 something different sounds on here. So you got loads of different kicks, loads of different snares, which you can do on your drum kit setup. Again, I'm not going to go into that for now. You can get an idea of what it sounds like. Again, if people want me to do a massive, full, in-depth tutorial on how to use the thing, I will happily do that. Right, so let's change some cameras around, and we'll have a little bit of a jam just to close this video out. Okay, so briefly in terms of setup, before we crack on with this, I'm using the SR-16 as the master MIDI out. So I've got MIDI out going into MIDI in on the B1, and then I've got MIDI out of here going into the Deluge. Just to give it some clock. So when I press play on this, that starts and that starts. And what I'm going to do with the Deluge is just going to find a little ARP sound. I'm using the community presets on here. There's some awesome presets in here. They recently had a competition for people to make presets. And there's loads of them on here, and they sound really cool. So let's just... As you can see, there's some awesome ones. I'm going to use this, and we'll go up a little bit higher, which is called Apex Stab. So let's just turn the arpeggiator on. We'll go random. And if I remember rightly, the pattern I'm using on here is in A, I think. Let's just try that out. Nope, it's on F. So I'm going to just set the scale to F, and oh, so we'll get a little ARP pattern going. See what that sounds like. Okay, might have some more notes in there in a sec. Okay, we'll have a little jam, see what we can come up with. Oh, there we go. Yeah, not the most inspiring jam in the world, but you get an idea of how, how the thing sounds. The MIDI setup on it is really easy. Just set it to, send info out, and there's a good little MIDI section there. So there we go. That is the Alesis SR-16. Absolute bargain, 50 quid off eBay. I mean, I think if you buy them new, because I think you can still buy them new, even now, they're about 120 quid new, but there's loads of them on eBay. So yeah, grab yourself one if you want a little bit of a retro. I kind of get slightly Chemical Brothers-y kind of vibes from some of the sounds as well from some of their 90s stuff. So if you want to go for that kind of vibe, then yeah, go for it. So thanks for watching. Usual things like subscribe, support me on Patreon, all the usual good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.